All right.
Hello.
Beginning with laughter. Hello. I feel like this is weird. I've never Father and I think did an episode one time, but we didn't have this back behind us or like
Right.
so I feel like we're doing the news right now.
Oh, the
That's
news
what
of St. Jude.
exactly. Like I feel like we need to have that like dun 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 dun. Welcome to St. Jude.
It's a good thing Tim can sing because then we have some dun 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 duns.
Our news voices, whatever. Welcome to the Church Bulletin Podcast. I'm your host. Whatever. I would be color commentary. You'd be the host.
Yes. And if anybody ever wants to be here and come, do a church bulletin insert and talk about a ministry or something in their life that's affected them, come give us a holler and we'll get you on here.
Yeah,
it's super fun.
Yeah, that's definitely something that after Lent U was over, we're talking about doing an episode at least once a month. Because we were just kind of looking at the calendar like, oh, Lent U ends, and it's like, what's next? So that might be one thing.
Or to talk about like your experience during Lent.
Absolutely. Like it could just be, I mean, it could be about anything. Like some of the altar servers have asked if they could come on. Apparently I can't breathe. We've also, I was just talking to some of the people at our Bible study that come in on Wednesday that were like, I'd be happy to talk about that or different things. So yeah, if you're interested, if there's something that you'd love to share, we would love to hear from you.
Yeah,
so.
And we can put together questions so that you're not unprepared and
yeah, we would have a plan. We would meet and like any interview or any show, and we'd talk about what we want to talk about and what we want to focus on, and then just sit down and do it. And so yeah, and now that because we have this nice studio, why not?
Yeah.
It's just like us, just two parish workers just chatting in a room.
Chatting in a room like we do all day
like
in the office.
That's the thing. Someone's like, wow, like you guys on the podcast like look like you're just so comfortable. I'm like, it's literally like this is not that far from reality, just across the way.
Right.
I mean, Diana, she brings some extra.
Oh, we
got
in trouble last week because we forgot to mention Diana on the podcast.
So Diana,
we
sorry.
We are truly sorry.
She works so
we'll
hard.
Be
Thank
saying
you.
her name multiple times today.
Thank you, Diana. You are right there.
So that she finds all of our gift cards for us.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Diana, for your gifts and for your everything that you bring. You bring so much joy and laughter and cleanliness, and my favorite thing, we always talk about how at St. Jude's, like on staff, we're a team. So like, obviously people take the lead on certain things, but there's just kind of this sort of, unspoken expectation that if someone is doing something and they need help, you'll help them kind of a thing, except Diana, because if I empty my garbage can before she comes to do that for me, which I'm very grateful, Diana, thank you. Like, oh, I did it once. I'll never do it again. Mm-hmm. Don't touch the garbage if Diana's cleaning.
Right.
That's a PSA for the world. You're welcome. All right. So this Sunday is the third Sunday of Lent. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for Father to be like, so I watched the podcast.
It's a good thing that he actually doesn't always.
No, he doesn't. So hopefully we'll get away with this one. But it's the third Sunday of Lent. So Lent is moving right along. This is crazy. So this front cover, I wish Father was here because he chose this, and I'm not sure exactly why. I mean, I was with him, and I think it's because the gospel this Sunday is Jesus overturning the moneylenders' tables in the temple, and the line, zeal for my Father's house will consume me. And this, if you look at the top of the scriptures, it's underlined. Like this is a page from the Bible of that Bible story. Then it's just got lots of notes, and I think the idea is, at least for me when I look at it, because everyone can have their own Visio Divina, but when I look at this, it's just a reminder that the scriptures are meant to be worked with. You know, I mean, obviously you shouldn't deface a Bible, you shouldn't be disrespectful, but like what's beautiful about this picture is this person, whoever they are, has taken the time to really sit with the Word of God. They have things underlined, highlighted, they have notes, and it's a beautiful thing because this is then actually, I think, impacting their life.
Right. I think we discussed this a couple different ways,
Mhm.
like because the Bible can be read as a story if you need it to be, but it's more like a letter from God,
Mm.
or people use it as a workbook in this instance,
Yeah.
where they put notes all over it and
Mhm.
things that stand out to them, and then they can reflect on that with other people. So it's the Bible has so many different uses for us to hear God's word.
I forget which famous Catholic speaker. Might have been Chris Stefanik. I don't know. I don't remember exactly which one, but I was at this conference one time, and he told a story about this guy he met at like a coffee shop, and he had his Bible with him, and he was using a blue highlighter, and he couldn't help but notice that there was like orange highlights and yellow highlights as well. And so he just asked, like, is there a thing to your highlighting? Is there a system? And he said, yeah. And he said, I became a Christian a few years ago. And he said, and this is the third time I've been through the Bible. This is a Bible that I received from my pastor when I became a Christian, he said. And so the first time I read through the Bible, when something spoke to me, I highlighted it in yellow. And then the second time I highlighted it in orange. And the third time now I'm using blue. And it just made me, like, I remember hearing that story and be like, that is so cool. Like, that Bible for that guy is just a little bit extra holy. It's a little bit, because there's just, it's kind of like a photo album of his journey with Jesus so far, like in his mind, because he remembers, oh, this was from the beginning of my journey with Jesus. This is more recently. So it's really neat. So that's what I love about this picture. So I hope that you can look at this bulletin cover and you can think to yourself, is there like, for me too, like I'll go into my Bible, and if you go to John, it is just marked up.
Mm-hmm.
But you flip to Mark, and there's hardly anything there. I've spent way more time in Matthew and John than in Luke and Mark, which is interesting. So
I spent a lot of time in Jeremiah, and now doing the Bible study with Barb and Victoria, Job. It's really fun. We have a different book that's actually a workbook for it because it's a study guide.
Sure.
But you can take it back to actually reading Job and stuff.
Very good.
It's very nice.
So a couple of things on the opening page. Obviously, the usual. We've got the mass intentions. We buried Lorraine Millen. We celebrated her life in our church like about a week ago. So she's in there to remember her, along with the sanctuary candles. But we also have our parish goal for CSA up there. And not to jump ahead to the end, but Uno's tip of the week is an exciting announcement that our diocesan goal has been met already.
Thank you
so much. So anyone who participates in everyone who is participating in this as well. I always feel like sometimes we make it seem like, okay, thank you so much for getting us to this point, but now we really want more.
Now the fun begins.
And so that's not true, because without the people who have already given, we would not be here. But if you haven't donated yet,
right,
it stays here now.
Yeah.
Right? Like
every extra dollar that you can give or donate and stuff like that is all stuff for the church. Everything that Father has talked about in his homily, when he talked about all the stuff for CSA, and then joining CSA Plus, if you were waiting to see or just waiting and considering it, now is the time. And then you get in with all of the insider scoops or whatever Father has planned. So we can have you as part of the team, so we can listen to your what your visions are with us as we go forward with all the new plans.
Absolutely, because we're spending this year planning to plan, essentially, because we have the pastoral plan coming out in a month or so. That will affect what we do. But I think Father's being very wise, because, there are lots of things we could do that would be like Band-Aids over wounds or something like that when it comes to structure or infrastructure, different things like that. But like to really look at the future and be like, what are the needs of this parish? And in 5 years, where are we going to be? It's an exciting time.
And if you can't remember from that week, that's why all of the masses are recorded, and go back to that homily and listen again to him review why this year's CSA has a different goal, a different vision, and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So I think that's it for that page, unless there's something that I'm forgetting. But turning the page, we've got the weekly family reflections from the Magnificid mass accompaniment tool, whatever you want to call it. Just a few things, and this is something I'm extremely extremely challenged in this week by them, because it's about noticing God's goodness in your life. Like, I'm very good at being grateful, like, and being like, thank you, Jesus, for this, or thank you, Jesus, for that. But it's always like after the fact. And this really encourages you to really look at stuff like while it's happening. So like notice it immediately in your life. Like, I'll notice it when the fruit sort of shows up, you know, but instead being like, I hit all green lights, dropping, like, Amia, my daughter, and I were late dropping her off to school yesterday, and I was like, we hit all green lights on the way here and got here on time. I didn't speed. And in that moment I was like, this is fantastic. And then I sat down to put it in the bulletin, like this part of the bulletin, and I'm like, oh, look at that. It just happened. So take some time. It is for kids, but it's also for families, but this one doesn't really matter how old you are. It's good. And then try not to get lost in the upcoming events. There is so much stuff happening over the next week, excuse me, and weeks to come.
Yeah.
We have the next few things as well with Lent U specifically, more details on the events on that page. But the main thing for the next week is there, and there's a lot. There's a lot going on here.
I just noticed, though, it's not First Reconciliation for the school children on Wednesday. It's just a reconciliation service for the school children.
Wow.
That's okay. First Reconciliation was this past Saturday. It was beautiful. Got mixed up. And the school children were already there. That's okay.
That's all right.
It's a reconciliation for the school children.
So there is no mass.
So there's no mass.
That is correct.
This coming week. Yeah.
So yeah. So if you're used to coming to the school mass, that will not be available.
And there's a couple on Tuesday. There is the Job Bible study, which there's still room for people if they wanted to come. But if you wanted to try something different for the night, there is going to be a coffee house in the youth room, which is downstairs of the church at the same time. But still, you know what I mean? Like, wherever you find yourself called that this coming Tuesday, go there.
And if you are at the Job Bible study, you're welcome. Absolutely, to come on downstairs, grab a cup of coffee, and then head upstairs to the Bible study. It's all good. For those that do stay for the Bible study, Dave Slabowski, myself, maybe a couple of other people who write music or have written music, we're going to share a song or two and stories behind those songs, and also have some reflection time on those while we're also having a coffee house setting and chatting and all that kind of stuff. So kind of an exciting thing, not depending on how this goes, but that's actually something we're talking about doing more of, is having more coffee house nights, maybe on Tuesdays after Mass, just to,
hang out, share our talents.
Exactly, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
if that's something you're interested in, or those kinds of events, or something that you like or you'd like to see more of, that would be a great thing to call the office about, or email Father or me or Sara or anybody, and just say, hey, this is something that I really like. So if you do find something like that, like an event in Lent U, because we don't have to keep all the Lent U events specifically to Lent U. Like, we can do other things throughout the year. So if there's something that you really like, please feel free to reach out to us and talk to us about it. So
just as a reminder, I know this is the bulletin for this week, but this coming Friday, March 1st, there is no stations here at St. Jude.
Yes.
And then on Saturday is the men's conference. So I think there was still room to sign up to come.
So
if
that
you
would be
wanted
March
to do that.
March 1st and 2nd.
March 1st
we're talking
and 2nd,
about.
right? And if you go to the Bible study on Saturday morning with Roy, again, there's more room for people to join there. But this Saturday it'll take place in the Parish Center, which is at the end of the school, just because the men's conference uses all of our facilities here.
They take up the entire space. Like, it is just full.
Yeah.
Yep. So if you're in that Bible study, head on over to the Parish Center. Again, to get there, just turn into the east lot between the church and the school. There will be a lot of cars for the men's conference. You can do it. Just keep going down the school. Like, you feel like you're going to run out of room, and you will. And when you run out of room, you've reached the Parish Center doors. That's literally
exactly
how
it.
That is. Like, so you'll be like, I'm still going. Yes, you are. Keep going. Don't give up.
So, and again, there's still room for everything that's coming up next week if you're wanting to join and the stuff coming up after that. give us a call here at the church if you are unable to use the flock note. We understand completely. We are taking the emails and the phone calls and getting people signed up for things. Lots of good stuff happening.
Absolutely. So just a couple of things on top of all of that. Next Monday, so not this upcoming Monday, the following Monday, we have the 12. That's our men's ministry from 6:30 to 8 p.m. in the church. It's led by me. And we've got a great group of guys who have been coming. So if you do come, you're going to join an awesome group. But they're called Come Away Nights is what we call them. And it's from, I think, Mark chapter 6. I need to get that in my head officially, but Mark chapter 6, where Jesus says to the 12, he says, come away and rest a while. Because they've been working and all these kinds of things. And there are different kinds of events that we do. And we like our life groups to give back to the parish, whether that be through service or something. And everyone in the 12 is involved in something else. And so if you join the 12, we'll look at what you do. And if there's not something, we can find something for you to do if you get involved and you stay involved. But the 12 is just a great place to receive what you need so that you can give of your time, your talent, your treasure, your whatever it is that God is calling you to give. It's become very much like a little retreat, and it wasn't intended to be that way. It just sort of happened, the Spirit led, and it's been really cool. So fellas, if you want to come, feel free. And then the following Monday, jump way ahead, is Mom's Group, which is always awesome. Whenever Mom's Group comes up, you're not on the podcast.
I know.
It's weird how this works. So the only person on the panel usually to talk about Mom's Group is me. But since we have a shorter bulletin today, if there's a mom watching who doesn't come to Mom's Group, what are some of the cool things about Mom's Group?
What's really cool about Mom's Group is it's really intergenerational, and we can share mom stories. We've been focusing a lot on the women of the Bible. We, as a group, pick which one's next, and we have a study guide to go with it. But sometimes their story goes with somebody else's story, and we share and talk about that. And it's nice to have some younger moms, some moms that have been around for a while, and have the young adults in their life, and some grandmas too. So their children are older, and they have then that grandma things. So those are always fun, and it's fun to share stories with all the different age groups and stuff in there. So. And we come together. We always bring something to eat because moms like to do that, and it's just a nice unwinding night. If you need babysitting services, we always have those. The kids run around downstairs in the youth room and have fun there and eat some snacks and stuff. So
they have a nice little community going on down there too. It was actually, I don't know if it was last Mom's Group or the Mom's Group before that. Katie. My wife who attends Mom's Group, who I'm usually quoting when I'm like, hey, go to Mom's Group, Mom's my wife says this about it, which is really very much what you just said. Mm-hmm. So it really is a thing. But what's funny is I don't remember which one it was, but Katie was kind of saying to me I don't know, I don't know if we're gonna go, and then Amia was like, we're going. I gotta go. So that for the kids, there is a nice little
mm-hmm.
kid community going on there as well.
It's nice when the kids want to bond in another way. So
yeah,
and these are younger ones, Amia's in kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine brings her kids,
yep.
And whatnot, and they if they get here early enough, they watch TV before they go downstairs, so they get involved in
so much
sharing each other's favorite shows and things. So,
exactly.
But it's very nice to see that. So.
All right, so a couple more things. First of all, that's highlighted in the back. First is the Holy Thursday. So we're going to get into Holy Week here for a second. The Holy Thursday pilgrimage, which is open to all individuals and families, but you do need to RSVP for this. This whole page is all you, Sarah.
I know.
So
it
for
really
the most part,
except for the men's ministry.
I said, and I already said the men's ministry part.
So what's really nice is after the Mass of the Lord's Supper on Holy Thursday, we have a small bite to eat. We did this last year, and we're hoping to do it again. We are doing it again this year. We're going to pick different sites to go to, and we just pray on things that you would reflect on. So the tradition started. People used to go around to different churches after they left Holy Thursday Mass and pray. But we want to go to different sites in the city and pray there for our community, for the people that may need prayers that don't always find them and get them. So we have the Mass of the Lord's Supper. Again, we come and we have a light bite to eat, and then we go around to different places. Everybody gets a list, and then we kind of caravan around to the different places and pray.
Wasn't last year? Where'd you guys go last year?
We went to different places that have reflected on the works of mercy. So we went to Tracy's school. We just prayed outside the doors, just stand around outside and pray. To the St. Jude, St. Andrew food pantry, down to a nursing home on the Bayfront, at St. Peter's Cathedral.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a mental health place. And we ended actually at the cemetery. One of the works of mercies is to bury the dead. So we ended there. So just the things to think about. I don't know exactly where our sites are going to be or what they're going to be focused on this year, but know that they're around the community to pray for our community. You know what I mean? If sometimes, like Father Ross always says, what happened if St. Jude were to close? You know what I mean? Like, would the community know?
Exactly.
Obviously all parishioners would, but just to quote Father Ross on something, it's always something to think about too. What if St. Jude, were one of those places to close?
Would people who go to Sheets or the Peninsula or, the Colony Plaza, would the people around us, who aren't necessarily a part of us, would they notice? If it went away. So this is a great thing for that. So with the Easter schedule, that's in here as well. So you have the Mass of the Lord's Supper. That is going to be, that's March 28th, Thursday at 6 p.m. And then, of course, followed by that pilgrimage for those who would like to participate in that. And then on Good Friday, March 29th at 2 p.m., that's when the Good Friday service will be. And then the Easter Vigil will be on Saturday at 9 p.m. And then we have Easter Sunday, March 31st, 7:30, 9, and 10:30 a.m. Masses, as always. And then last but certainly not least, shout out to our friends over at Sacred Heart, where Sara is running the show for the Sacred Heart Spaghetti Dinner.
I just do their advertising.
I feel like you run the show everywhere you go. Let's be real here.
There's a whole bunch of ladies who are involved in this, and they're amazing ladies. I just get to
I've heard good things about this.
I just get to make their flyer and share, because the Sacred Heart Altar Society sponsors this, and I get to be a part of that.
That's awesome.
So I get to make their flyer and send it out. So if you know the Sacred Heart tradition of spaghetti dinner, we're celebrating our 71st year of doing this.
Wow.
We even did it during COVID. It was really funny. We had our spaghetti dinner, and then the world shut down literally 2 weeks later. So, but we got to do it the next year as a drive-through. Yeah. So we've been able to celebrate every year this way. Okay. The sit down, and it's always nice to have people. And we have people from all over the diocese come because, somebody they know at Sacred Heart, or they just have come to the dinner for so many times. So not to take away from St. Jude's spaghetti dinner. No. But that's in October. This is March. So
we're a little bit different. We're not competing. We're all on the same team technically. Right. So very good. No, it looks very tasty. Tickets are $15 a person. A child dinner is $10. Looks a bucket of meatballs and sauce, $10. Sit down, take it. Like this looks great. So feel free to head on over to Sacred Heart and support them. They do a lot of
not this Sunday, the next
not this
Sunday,
Sunday, the
March
next
10th.
Sunday. Yep, just to get it on your calendar. So, yeah, I think that's everything. So thank you all so much for watching. Again, shout out to Diana. You keep this place running, and we appreciate you. So with all that said, all right, peace. Have a great one. Know of our prayers.
Have a great week.